Man, that's a good question. That's a good question. So a few months ago, I had this time where I'm realizing in hindsight, it was a question posed to me by the Lord. So I was journaling, and I really felt like this question rose up in my heart and mind, which was, hey, I want you to journal down any time in your life that you can remember when you felt a transcendent sense of peace. And by transcendent, I mean there's like a deep feeling that anxiety is not present. There's a sense of like deep level of contentedness in the present moment, a sense that the future is going to be okay. There's like hope connected to it. I mean, I think we all have little moments of this throughout the day. What was the highlight of your day? Or I'm talking like sort of transcendent, these moments that are burned into you. Like that was a moment when I knew everything was all right and I was overcome.
Like
Because I had one of those.
like it's permeating.
Yeah, yeah. And whatever, like, yeah, deep level nagging fear, anxiety, or anger, and like that's not present, and you're like comfortable in your own skin, you know that you're unconditionally loved, you know that the future is going to be glorious, you know that you're held in the present, transcendent, like,
Sounds like
because I had one of those moments the night before that question rose up in me. I had one of those moments where we were like, it was still cold outside, so this would have been late winter, and we had a fire in the fireplace, and I was just staring at the embers, and whatever thought process my mind and spirit were going down, just sitting, staring at those embers, it struck me. It was like when you become conscious in the dream that you're having the dream, it struck me like, this is one of those moments. This is peace, because it like my thought and my heart went to this place. Like I said, that this transcendent peace rolled over me, and I sat there with it, and I knew in my heart, I was like, remember this moment. You'll always remember this moment. And so the next morning, that thought rose up in my heart. And the interesting thing is, on that list, there were probably only 7 to 10 moments in my life that I could remember experiencing what I'm just going to call like permeating, transcendent, like peace of God level peace, shalom, which is more than just, once again, contentedness or I feel good right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like I used to do a lot of drugs, and you have feelings of elation that aren't necessarily peaceful. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so on that list, most of them had happened in my adult Christian life, which is telling, you know what I mean? But what's interesting is when I told my wife, Michelle, about that moment by the fire the night before, she's like, Josh, I don't want to make you feel bad, but I think most people have more of those times than you do, because I can be given to like melancholy sometimes, you know what I mean? And despairing and always trying to like problem solve. And, so she actually recognized, Josh, I think maybe you're supposed to live in that place more often than you do. And I was like, it was like a revelation to me, like, there might be part of me that doesn't live in a place of peace, so that when I actually touch upon it, it's like, stop the show. Something just happened, And she brought that to my attention. I think that's a place that you're supposed to access more often. It's not supposed to be once every 2 or 3 years that you have this moment, Granted, you do have these sort of kairos moments where God does something special that can't be repeated. But yet that place of peace, I think, is something that is supposed to be accessed more and more. And I realized that for myself, which led me on a journey, man, So to just continue the answer to this question, it's become a really important thing to me. And part of my days seeking the Lord is like, I'm actually looking for the one who holds that peace, in whose presence is the only place where it can be found. So it's that knowing of myself that I think I haven't experienced a lot of that in my life. And the only times I do are when I can like really find it in him. He is the bringer of peace. And that level of peace, it can heal sickness. I mean, it can heal mental conditions. It can heal deep spiritual woundings. It can give you components of your identity in him that you didn't even know were present. It can disconnect parts of your identity that you think are just negative parts of who you are, that he's actually saying, no, that's not actually even who you are. Like despair, despair is not supposed to even live in you. Like And
That's
in his
good.
peace, those things can actually begin to be separated because they can't live in his presence, you know?
If you enjoyed this conversation from the Transforming Discipleship podcast, listen to the full episode at SmallGroups.com/podcast.